What's happening, everybody? Time for another malt review. This is Mikey. I'm Narby, as usual.
What's up, guys?
All right, everyone. I'm very excited to do this review. Probably more excited than most of the reviews, just because a lot of you have emailed us. Some of you have commented below a few of our videos and asked, what is the best whiskey to get for around $1,000 or less? I want to splurge into a high-end whiskey, and which one should I get? And we have commented and emailed back and given a few recommendations, but to some of you I've said just please be patient, because I'd rather that particular whiskey that I ultimately recommend to be a review rather than me just flat out telling you, so just to have a little surprise element behind it. This particular whiskey is a Highland Park. I want to show you guys the box that this comes in. Well, first let me show you the bottle here. It's a Highland Park, vintage 1977. This was bottled in 2006, which makes it a 29-year-old. And it was specially selected and bottled for Old Oak Cigar and Wine Company. Old Oak Cigar and Wine Company is a high-end liquor store and a cigar lounge. It's here in Southern California, in Thousand Oaks. So if you live in Southern California, I highly, highly recommend you check it out. Google it. Ask us below how to get there. We'll also link their online website where you can actually purchase this bottle below the video, so you guys can check it out. It's a really, really unique store. They carry unique bottles that you might not find everywhere, some really high-end specialty bottles, along with regular bottles. And if you're into smoking cigars, it's also an awesome place where you can hang out and do that. I personally go there about once or twice a week just to hang out, have a cigar. You can't actually drink whiskey there, but you can have beer and wine there. Awesome, awesome place to hang out. But again, back to the review. I want to show you the fancy box that this comes in. So it comes in a beautiful box, and as you can see, I have a brand new bottle here, a bottle that I drank, and I had a full bottle. We had a full bottle of this that we finished even before this one. So this is being our third bottle. I didn't want to do this review until I actually got another bottle of this, because I don't want to run out of this. That's how much I like it. So that's the box I wanted to show you guys. The price for this bottle is just under $700, $689. So for those of you who have asked me, what bottle do you recommend for under $1,000 for a high-end whiskey, this is going to be the one that I recommend. Now, if you don't live in the United States, they can't ship this to you, unfortunately. If you do live in the United States and you're not in Southern California, this can be safely shipped to you. So without further ado, let's pour ourselves a dram and do the video review here.
And the website, if you want it to be shipped, if you don't want to visit the store or you're not in the same area, is Oaks Liquors, liquors with an S, oaksliquors.com. Just so you guys know.
All right. Again, we're doing a 29-year-old single cask Highland Park. I should mention, again, it's distilled in 1977. It's cask number 7957, and it's bottled at cask strength at 48.5%. The owner of the store, his name's Albert, he actually had the privilege of trying several different casks, and this ended up being his favorite, and he was able to have this bottle for a store. You can't do that with Highland Park anymore. In 2006, whiskey wasn't as big as it is right now, and you actually had the privilege of actually being able to go to Highland Park and buy a beautiful cask like this for your store. So he obviously did some really good selecting here. So yeah, without further ado, Let's check out the color here. This is a nice, rich mahogany color, nice and dark, from a first fill Oloroso. 29 years old in a first fill Oloroso cask. On the nose. Right away, you can recognize that it's a high-end whiskey. It noses like an aged whiskey. It noses like an Oloroso sherry cask. The main thing, and I've had this whiskey many times, is just pure sticky toffee. It's really the best, one of the best ways I could describe this whiskey. It's such sweet, delicious, sticky toffee, but it's not too sweet. Where some whiskeys can be too sweet sometimes, this is certainly not it. It's a dessert whiskey, but not too sweet. So pure sticky toffee, heavy on molasses and cinnamon and caramel, chocolate and oak spice, just exactly the way you would want a perfectly Oloroso sherried whiskey to be.
This is, it almost ages like so high end, it ages older than 29 years. It would be great if it just aged at 29 years. This ages older, almost like 40 years. It's a sherry bomb. It's high quality Macallan on crack, high quality GlenDronach, like the recent GlenDronach single casks on crack, with just a little bit of Highland Park, that smoke, that ocean, that Orkney Island air in the background. It's incredible at first nosing.
I wanna kind of go back to what he's saying there. What he's basically saying is, with this single cask, all right, when you're doing a single cask, it's not necessarily like your traditional Highland Park. When you do the 18, let's say you do the 12, 18, 25, and 30, the range for Highland Park, it's very different. He brought up a Macallan because it's almost more going along that way in terms of the rich sherry, where Highland Park whiskeys tend to be a little bit more balanced, where it's not just pure thick heavy sherry, but when it's a single cask and they're not mixing different casks together, you're not getting as much of the Highland Park elements. Think of this, it is of course a Highland Park, but think of it more as a sherry monster more than anything. If I blindly nose this, I would not know that it's a Highland Park. In fact, I would not guess that it's a Highland Park.
No.
So it has those traditional aged qualities in terms of espresso and leather.
Oh, yeah.
But again, going back to that thick, rich, sticky toffee, molasses and cinnamon spice and chocolate. So delicious. It's not overly complex. It's just perfect the way it is.
Beautiful, delicious, scrumptious.
Yeah. On the palate. So, the mouthfeel is so viscous. It's so mouth coating. You leave this on your tongue and you swirl it around a little bit, and it just covers your mouth exactly the way I described it on the nose, with that sticky toffee and molasses, chocolate, caramel.
Oh my God.
Add some nice wood spice. It is absolutely not overly drying. It's ever so slightly drying in the background, but on the forefront, it's those delicious flavors. Adding on some really nice dried fruits like rum raisins, dates, and figs. Finishes on that oak spice, leather, and dark chocolate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a sherry bomb, sherry monster, just like on the nose, but what might be the Highland Park part of it is I'm getting just the nicest amount of like the saltiness and the coastal air, and like Narby said, the wood spice. This is one of the best wood spice elements I've ever had in my life, and the way that it contributes to it. It brings it together and it adds to it something beyond just the normal after dinner, sherry dram that you would have. It really comes together perfectly.
Yeah. The finish is nice and long. It just keeps lingering. And I think we pretty much summed it all up in terms of describing this whiskey. I think if you got to try it, you guys would agree. This is a whiskey when someone that I know is really into whiskey, starting to get into whiskey and has tried several. They own 10, 15 bottles, and they come over and they want to try something special because they don't own something special and they haven't tried anything high end. This is the one that we will pour because it's just the perfect whiskey for the person who maybe doesn't have a ton of experience and wants something delicious, but it's also a perfect whiskey for that experienced palate who just wants something really high quality as well. Where let's say a Brora 30, I would not give that to the more of a beginner guy. That would be more for the experienced palate because it's so complex, it's so different, it's got so many different elements where, who doesn't like a delicious dessert? And that's what this is. It's a delicious dessert formed into a high-end whiskey. So yeah, again, you can get this online. We're gonna link the website below for just under $700. I honestly don't think you can get a better buy for that price. And if you say I'm biased, I could maybe be a little bit biased because I'm friends with the guy who owns the store. But again, I wouldn't put my reputation on the line like that and recommend a whiskey if it wasn't true either. Score-wise, for me, this is a very solid 94 out of 100.
I'm gonna give it 95 out of 100.
Wow.
It's that good, it's that delicious, it's that aged, it's that unique.
Yeah, so a very special whiskey. Again, we'll link the website below if you guys want to try it. And I'm mentioning that again because a lot of you have asked me to recommend you guys high-end whiskeys for $1,000 or less. And for $700, get this one if you're willing to spend. It's not cheap. I'm not saying it's cheap, but compared to other whiskeys, it's worth it. We'll see you guys soon.
Special for special occasions.
All right, you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Take care.